Hello, everyone. Today we are experimenting with a fun technique of the plastic wrap. And we're going to also experiment with both acrylics and watercolors. The first one will be with acrylics. So the aim is to get those cool lines that reminds a little bit of ice, frost. But we're also going to use the other color. So first we're going to try to do those cool penguins. And we're going to start just with a pencil sketch. Choose how big you want your penguins. Here they're small. Maybe this time I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. So basically what I'm going to do now, just draw two penguins. Yeah, so I'm going to start with the head. Yeah, so just like curvy line of the head. And then I can have his wings. And then two penguins a little bit like holding hands. So now it reminds a little bit of even a bit of the plane or something, this shape. We're doing penguins pretty much sketchy. And just like here at the top, the heads of penguins are usually black. And okay, I'm gonna show closer. Yeah, so basically this is my first penguin. So later when we put the black lines, of course, it's gonna look nicer. But for the first step, it's fine. I feel maybe this one a bit too big. Yeah, before we have the water and all the stuff going on, we can correct as much as we want. And the second penguin, I would start where the hand of the first one is. So kind of, so then to show that, walking together, holding hands. Yeah, the legs, the feet, very simple. Yeah, and it's also fun putting them on the different levels. Like this, it feels a bit as if they are, walking and lifting their feet. Yeah, and the eye, I make just the circle and I put the dot inside the circle. And the penguins, they look fun when they're a little bit more like fat. So you can also feel free to work on his bellies. Yeah, take your time to the penguins. And then we're gonna move together to the
I'm done.
nice. Okay, let's wait for Ellie to show. Ah, also, you're both done. Nice girls. Okay, then let's move to the paints. So I'm gonna have a bigger brush and smaller. So with the bigger brush, I'm gonna first make all the background wet, just with the clean water. And then I'm gonna use, you can use just two. If you want, you can use three. But I think two is enough also. One lighter, one darker blue. Yes. But we definitely need to make them watery. So I would suggest anyway, the first step is to put your paints on the palette and make a puddle of them. Yeah, a puddle, I mean, then just put water in. So they're really, really liquidish. Here I'm taking water and just with the, here I'm adding water and then creating, then again, and then Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we know acrylics are drying fast. And in this case, we are making acrylics a bit more in a watercolor mood. Yeah, so really liquidish. So they flow. Yeah, and we get nice. Yeah, and then once you're ready, you just kind of set those puddles aside. And then what you do, you just take a bigger brush and we make wet, all our paper wet, all apart the penguins. And I suggest you leaving, well, a little bit space before the penguins. Because still our paint's gonna move and still, you see, like I got some of my bluish on top of the penguins. It's not that bad. I can also clean or I can later correct if that's too much. But still to keep our penguins white, the bellies, then I suggest you to keep the water. And it's actually like, so I'm keeping penguins dry and the water, it's gonna also work as the, as the border. Like the paints will not be flowing outside this water. Yeah, so putting water on the paper, on the background. And so you can check where you have water, where you don't. Yeah, because sometimes like watering, then I'm not sure are all areas wet or not. So the trick is you turn your head like sideways and you look kind of parallel to the paper, and where you see the glossy areas, that's the places where the paper is wet. And where you don't see the gloss, then it means it's dry and yeah, a little bit of the water is missing. And why we're making paper wet? So this is a very popular technique of watercolors. It's called wet on wet. And it's exactly to help the paints flow. So then we don't want some dry brush strokes. We want exactly the flow, the paints mixing one with each other and having soft borders. That's why we made the paint mix liquidish and also the paper. Cool. Yeah, so checking sideways, everything is wet.
I'm ready.
Cool. Okay, now the fun part, a flow to mix is starting. It's also good to have, again, so I like having on a cardboard, because then I can also move it. So now I'm going to be settling the paints, the puddles, and then I can also like control where they float. Yeah. So maybe, well, I think starting with the lightest as usual. So I would start it with the lighter blue. And I'm going to be just, so let's see, I take the paint and I just sit. Okay, you see, a bit less water, it's not floating. I go back with the brush and I add more. So all I want to do is just really nice, colorful areas. So if you see, you're putting the paint and it's kind of not floating enough, just go quickly with the same brush and just add some water on top. Yeah. If it's floating nicely, acrylics are not floating as watercolors. Yeah. Still, like we can help them with water. And in this moment, it's kind of important still, the paper is wet, everything is wet. And we finish, like, so it's still wet before we put our plastic wrap on top. Because otherwise, when it's dry, those lines are not going to be working. Like, I can see already some areas where acrylic's just going to stay as a color. Yeah. But this is why we also experiment with both acrylics and watercolors, so you can just also feel the differences. Yeah? And then in some moment you can take then, of course, the dark one and set the dark areas. And this technique works with dark color. So if it's going to be only light, it will not be that effective, because then you will not see the contrast. Because the lines we're going to get are going to be light, white. So if you have only white, light blue, yeah, then it will not create this like, ooh, nice icy spot mix, yeah? Yeah, and you see how interesting, how like I'm moving my cardboard, but like the penguins are staying white. It's because the paint, yeah, it kind of plays within this water level that we have put on the paper. And still I keep on coming back also to the cup and adding the water where it's needed. Yeah, so water, as you can see. Yeah. And so, of course, try maybe already going a little bit, hopefully, towards the completing the. That's why actually, like, start doing this technique. It's good to start with smaller paper. Yeah, bigger requires more time, but fine. I hope, I think we're gonna manage. Okay, so I'm already going quickly towards my plastic wrap, so not to miss the fact. And and basically then what you do, you place the plastic wrap on top and you kind of move your fingers, you do those lines, you see, like just like. And now I can move also a bit closer to the penguins, like the paint now is moving. And basically that's it. And a bit too much I got here. Doesn't matter, okay. Messy, messy, messy. And so for watercolors, it will be necessary to leave it drying for, yeah, at least 24 hours. So patience is also required. for acrylics, that's why I experiment with acrylics. We hope we're gonna try to lift it up also before our lessons ends, to check. Although I'm a bit scared, it was already a bit too dry, but still hopefully some lines. So you can move, feel free to move those lines around. Then basically where the lines were touching the paint, it's gonna like take off some paint, like here at the bottom. I feel it was already too dry. But okay, experiment. I'm sure with watercolors it shall work also nice and different. Yeah, still I think acrylics, it's the material that dries really fast. I was trying to make it as watery as possible, but still hopefully I'm gonna get the ice cracking lines.
My penguins got all one.
Okay, so you have your paper plastic wrap on top, right? Okay, cool. So we just then take this and we set aside, yeah, and we're just gonna let it dry. Sometimes you can even speed up and dry it with the hair dryer, yeah. But let's just take it away, and we're gonna wait and see maybe in the end of the lesson what was the result, yeah. And as we spoke, we're gonna do the second one, but with watercolors. And I suggest we try to the orangey reddish colors. This was my test. I wouldn't call it very successful, but I learned from it. So now we will try also correct mistakes. And what was the mistake? I haven't done enough of dark red and dark orange. So I've set lots of yellow, and I put, as I thought, enough. Like, the mistake was that watercolors, when they're wet, they're very bright, and once they're drying, they lose the intensity. So I'm gonna fill in with more red this time, yeah. And yes, so we are taking watercolors now, yeah, the different. And we're gonna prepare the plastic wrap, because I think that one we won't be able to use the second time. Like mine one got too messy, too bluish. So better I'm gonna prepare the new one. Nice. Yeah, and again, it's nice to have it ready. So then when everything is done and wet, we just take. And technique will be the same. So we're gonna make all our paper wet. Here we already don't have a drawing, so we don't need to go around. And the idea I have with this orangey one, so now we're gonna prepare those effects. We're gonna let it dry. In the next lesson, we can try create a nice autumn painting. So we can use it as some colorful autumn leaves. Yeah, and we're gonna be improving the drawing with color pencils, let's say, is the best material for. So again, I'm taking the water. It's good also if you have clean water, maybe, because we've just used blue. Okay, but I mean, if you're the perfectionist, you can go and change the water, have it clean. Okay, I'm using my bluish water. Oh, it's gonna be fine. And again, I'm making my paper all wet. It's also good. So first you make the paper wet and you kind of also give it 1-2 minutes to soak it in. And while it's soaking in, then you go prepare your mixes of colors. And here, then we're gonna use yellow, orange, and red. Yeah, so also just to, since we experiment, it's good also to try the different colors. Yeah, so we had blue for penguins, and we're gonna have autumn. And again, so, and here, so if you have watercolors in tubes, it can be even maybe easier. I have my watercolors in the boxes, so I need kind of time. So I'm picking up really enough of paint. Yeah, so it is liquidish, but still the quantity of paint is important. Yeah. And we're gonna be putting yellow. Then we're gonna be putting orange. And then we're gonna do some reddish parts to have it more the intensity. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna wait. And again, you can move your paper. So remember, yeah, kind of lift it up, down. Nice. Yeah, you let me know, girls, when you're ready to move for paints. Yes, if you're still making wet.
I'm ready.
Oh, nice. Wow, you're quick girls. Okay, then again, just have fun. Make the paints flow. And again, just placing it. And again, we see if I'm placing and it's not floating, I just quickly go back with my brush to the water and bringing some more in there. Yeah. And I'm kind of, today I'm not really watering. Nice. Yeah, so really want it to flow. Yeah, we remember that we can set up yellow as much as we want. Because then it's yellow is easily covered with all other colors. So nice. So don't be afraid going with back and forth to your water cup and bringing waters, not only the paint, but also the water. I'm leaving my yellow and I'm moving to orange. Yeah, if later I want, I can go back also adding. And again, so I'm putting, and if it's not floating enough, I'm helping it to float. So basically like dripping water and then letting the paint mix itself. Yeah? So in watercolors, it's essential that you can lift up your paper and use the have a really huge bottle inside. I'm also cleaning the edges a bit if they're already like too dripping. Okay, and reddish color, of course, it will bring the intensity. And we want the darkness as well. Yeah. Maybe actually now I'm thinking it was a mistake adding that much yellow. I'm used to that yellow is always like can never be too much. But if you now think, because then yellow made my orange too light, while I also wanted orange to be the dark one. So also adding the darker orange actually. So in watercolors, it's really like you need to work quickly. So let's say you've planned some part, then you work it nonstop, then you can make a break, then continue with the other part of the painting. But like you can't really stop and let the things dry. If they're dry, then it's like the second step. And nice. Yeah, and okay, maybe I'm gonna take just a bit of the water I have here. Yeah, because I really feel it's a really too big paddle, although it looks very beautiful. Yeah, oh, I took some of this. It's just too. And then basically the same thing. So you're putting the plastic on top and you move, then you're creating those. Yeah, and this one we will keep overnight. And then we're gonna see how it turns out. So the things that work and cannot work can depend also a lot on the paper. And this is also my doubt at the moment. But then again, that's the job of the artists. We experiment and then we learn. Yes, paper has huge meaning, especially in watercolors. So but still, it's always good to try new techniques, new ways. You never know where you get cool, fun surprises. Yeah, so very important. We've put the plastic wrap, we did those wrinkles, and we keep it. And we don't lift it up till the whole thing is dry. Yeah, even if you're curious, hold on. Yeah, otherwise it will not work. And generally, this technique is made for watercolors, but as we tried with acrylics just for curiosity and also see if we can have the result quicker rather than 24 hours. Cool. So these ones, again, this one goes away to dry, 24 hours. And we can take back our penguins and see if it worked. Although, okay, mine worked minimal. I think it was dryish. So I can see wrinkles, but it's really not what I had. But still penguins look fun. So I still suggest we finish them with the black. Because even the, like this as a painting looks nice, yeah? I think here, since it was the smaller size, I managed to go faster. And here I think I was talking too much. Feel free to share, girls, how it's on your side.
I got some of the lines, but I think I should have waited a little bit more to lift mine up maybe or something because kind of like wet.
It's still a bit wet. Okay. What about you, Julie? Did you get the lines?
Yeah, but it's also still a bit wet, but the penguins are all blue, so I'm probably going to wait to do some white on them.
Okay, good. Very nice. I'm happy you girls are so experienced painters, so you already have your plan. And exactly, so you can use also hair dryer, like if you're really keen to see it now. Yeah, so if you want, Juliet, you can try to use hair dryer, yeah, and then dry them. Or of course, just let them dry. What I'm gonna do a quick, actually I'm gonna do with the marker. I'm gonna go around the penguins. You can use, of course, the black paint. But since it's so little of it, I'm using the marker. And then maybe I'm just gonna, so as Julia said, correcting the penguins. If you got too much blue on the penguins, it's basically exactly, you wait till it's dry and you just put white on it. It's gonna look nice. Some areas, like I also got some bluish on top. They look even like nice. You definitely do more brown on the upper side of the wing. Yeah? So I'm gonna draw the penguins now. Yeah, so here is my one penguin. And yeah, so if you also do the penguins holding hands, don't forget that like one hand is a bit behind the other. So then just keep it one part white. And of course, if you liked the technique, you can experiment more. Yeah, on your own with other colors. And yeah, just fun to see. It's really, it's a little bit like the salt in watercolors. It's also one of the famous techniques when you put salt on top and then you wait till it's dry. And then when you take it off, then you also get some nice effects. And but it's also like, for me, the salt is always a mystery. Will it work or will it not work? But since we are artists, we can, I'm gonna add a little bit of the lines. Well, I was looking so for them. So I'm just gonna make them. Of course, it would be perfect if it would have worked. Like here I see I got some lines, but I didn't get them so white. So actually, like still it's the tip for me where I can use them. So I'm just taking a white acrylics and yeah, just creating some. This is actually a good lesson. So I'm not sad at all that it didn't work perfectly as I planned, because it gives a good lesson that if you're a true artist, you always find a way. And it's normal, things don't work out. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. When you get more experience, they turn out more often. When it's the new technique, as I said, it's also important to see what effects we get. Like, as I said, changing the paper can be a very game changer. So then, because you have the watercolor paper, or you can have, and in watercolor there are different types. There is cellulose, but there is also the cotton, and cotton paper, of course, is like a very. So here I did the stripes. Actually, starts looking even better as my first painting. Nice, I actually like it. Nice. So we can compare those two. Yeah, the nose of one of my penguins got, the paper was too wet, so my marker kind of got floating. That also teaches you about patience. Well, again, nothing a true artist can't correct. And so then I can just make the nose nicer, as it looks a bit. Cool. We have a couple of happy penguins. Yeah. Actually, what a new discovery I did today, that I really like how my brush works now on the wet, so it's still wet, the paper, and I'm putting here the acrylics, but it's really reaching the paper like very smoothly. It's nice. Like one can use it for other things. All right, for me, it will be the moment taking the tape off. It's all wet, yes. Careful with tearing the paper as well. Oh, oh. No. Oh. Okay, I see penguins. Cool, cool, cool. So that was our plastic wrap experiment. And next time we're gonna see what kind of results we're gonna get with our orangey area. Yes, this is the, and then we're gonna try to create also a drawing with it of the autumn leaves.